Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my stream. Yet another day. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. So, if you've been following me at all, you know that I've been working on this guy. This is the 148 scale Tornado by Revell. So I've been working on that, but today I'm switching it up. Today, I am building these guys, little Star Wars TIE fighters, the TIE Advance and the regular TIE fighter. And as you can see, I've got it all laid out here. They don't even bother putting an instruction manual in with it. What they do is they just print it on the inside of the top of the box. Because they're so small and there's not much to it. As you can see, it's really these two are just for the regular TIE fighter, and then these two are for the TIE Advanced, or also known as Darth Vader's ship. I've kind of started just a little bit on it already. As you might be able to see, there's some little black dots just at the tips of these here, each corner. So I've got to paint these panels black, right? But I've been using my tiny little brush to just go into the corners there so that I can use my slightly bigger brush afterwards, and I don't have to worry about trying to really get in those little corners with this one. So I did that on both sides of these two, okay, a little bit. And then I thought, when it comes to this one, maybe instead what I'll do is I'll use my panel line accent color, the black, and that way I can just kind of tap into each little corner like that, and that serves the purpose, and then I don't have to be so precise with the brush, and it seems to be working pretty good. So I am going to continue with this now and go from there. Again, I've got to do both sides on each one, and so that's what I'm going to do. And we'll start off. First of all, I need to check this to make sure everything is okay. Yep. Alright. I've already done a few corners on this one, but I've got others I need to do. The nice thing about this stuff is it creeps into the corners for you, so you don't really have to dab right at the corner, because it'll just get there on its own. Just kind of the beauty of this stuff. Just like that. Or I can put way too much on, and then that happens, and it just runs down every possible line. Oops. But that's okay. Yeah, that side's done. I'll just be a little more careful from now on. Got a little too carried away, too much on the brush. Live and learn, right? Okay, almost done. It'll be interesting to see how this all turns out in the end. Normally what I like to do is I do a wash, or I'll use the panel line accenter, but because these are such a light gray color, I don't think the black accent color will really do it justice. I think it'll wind up making it look almost like it's super old or something like that. And that might be okay if I was, you know, like if we're doing one and thinking, hey, this is going to be one that's like maybe crashed or something like that, and it's been sitting for a long time. Or maybe, you know, maybe you're doing one and it's like, okay, this ship is from the newer movies. So it's in that timeline, but this is actually a ship from the old Empire. And so therefore it's been around a long time, it's got logged on lots of hours or something like that, and so it's got that, you know, an aged look to it. If I was doing something like that, then yeah, the black panel line making it look really aged would be fine. But it's not the look I'm going for. These are just going to be, oh, what's the term I'm looking for? Just regular or normal, like you see in the original trilogy. Okay, so I've got all my corners done on Darth Vader's ship. I'm going to let those dry while I get my regular black and my slightly larger brush. I'm just going to put these out of my way for a moment while I work on these. All right. I will say this is one of the more tedious tasks of building these things. I have built one or two of these things before, just in a slightly larger scale. And painting these panels is not very much fun, because you're trying to paint along a precise line, but there's all these little grooves on these panels, like you'd see almost like a solar panel. And there we have one done. One of, how many is on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. One of 24 just on one TIE fighter. And of course, you would have the option, you could spray paint this. Like maybe spray paint the whole thing black and then just hand paint the little arms. That could be an option. You could do the exact opposite of what I'm doing. I don't think there'd be any harm in doing that. I think the results would be the same in the end. The only difference would be you're painting a light gray over a black. And that's usually harder to do to get the kind of coverage that you want, right? You're trying to paint a light color over a dark. It usually requires a lot more coats of paint to get full coverage. So that's kind of why I'm doing the black by hand instead. Second one done. I think either later today or tomorrow maybe it might be time to go over to the hobby store and buy a new brush. Just because this one's got bristles that kind of have a mind of their own. I'm going to go out in all kinds of different directions. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe just me, but it seems like they don't really make them like they used to anymore. I guess that's typical products now of many things. Even my little brush that I used to touch up these little corners, I've used it like 3 times, and I already had a hair on it that I had to remove because it was just sticking out and was not cooperating. Third one done. We are halfway done on one side of one panel. did just recently, I want to say about 2 months ago, I built a pair of first order TIE fighters in the same scale. So I kind of knew what I was getting myself into when I bought this one. Of course, I bought those, the first order ones on Amazon. They're a little bit expensive for what they are, such tiny little things. And then when I was in the hobby store, what, a week ago, I saw this. They just had this sitting on the front counter at the cash register for like a third of the price I paid for the first order ones. And I couldn't resist. I had to buy it. So I think these are 144 scale. I think. It doesn't actually, I don't think it even says on the box what scale these are. I know the other ones that Bandai makes are a little bit bigger than these. They're about twice the size. I know those are 148 scale. Or maybe they're not. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe these are 172 and the other ones are 148. I don't know. I'd have to look. Another one done. One more to go on this side. Ah, shit. I'll have to touch that up. Went a little bit of outside the lines of there. There we go. One done. Except for the little spot I'm going to have to touch up. I mean, I look at it from this far away, I can't even tell I've messed up. But there's one side done. So I'm going to let this side dry before going on to this side. So I'll just put this down and I'll start working on this one. What I want to do is get a little bit more paint on my lid here. And I'll check something here. Okay. And we continue on. Just realized I'm being pretty quiet. I got there's nobody in my chat right now, so I got nobody to talk to. And I've already kind of described what I'm doing right now, so it's just the monotonous task of painting every panel. It can be like painting turrets on a battleship or something like that, or treads on a tank. There's really not much to say. You see, the one hair on the brush just went outside the line on me while I was doing that. And now I got a crooked line because of it. Stupid thing. There's a temptation to just drop a big blob of paint in the middle of it. And then kind of just spread it out as I need it. And you can do that. But I find what happens when you do that is you wind up having to keep going back, because that leaves a big blob of paint there that takes, not only does it take a long time to dry, you wind up, like, the paint can hide the details because it's so thick in that spot, right? Like, I put a pretty big blob right there, and I just need to go back to it and thin it out. Shit. Can't seem to paint straight on this line for some reason. It looks like I'm going to be touching up this one too. course, I used a gray. I actually took these and I spray painted them all, the whole thing, all a nice light gray color. It's actually my local hobby store is having problems getting Tamiya paints. Their suppliers apparently are having a lot of issues getting the paints out of Japan. So they're really running low on stock. And of course, colors like the light ghost gray are really popular. So a lot of places are sold out. And according to my hobby store, the Tamiya paints are back ordered possibly as long as 3 months. So I decided they happen to have testers spray paints there. So I decided to pick up a can of that. And tried it out for the first time on this. And that's this one here, testers. Now what I did is I sprayed a little test because the color they put on the label didn't match the actual color of the paint, so I spray painted half the lid the actual color. So that's the color, and of course it matches, right? So yeah, so I tried that out, spray painted this thing, only to find out it actually was the same gray that the thing was molded in, or at least very close to it. So there's a sense in which if I really screw this up and I just make a mess of a little certain spot, I could just take my knife and scrape the paint off right down to the bare plastic underneath, and the color is going to be pretty much the same. So when I'm done the black on this, I think I'll just do a little test and try that in an inconspicuous spot like here. Okay, another panel side done, just like that. Because as it dries, you can tell little spots that you didn't quite get at. Just go and touch them up. Another one, or another side anyway, done. So while that's just sitting there, I'm going to see if let's get this here straight on here. Okay, so if I scrape some of this away, down to the paint, or down to the plastic, you can't even really tell the different colors. So where I've maybe just gone a little bit over and my line isn't straight, I could just take this and go scrape and clean it up. and I don't even have to bother like trying to match this to this or something stupid like that, right? So that's kind of cool. So that's something I'm gonna do later. Let's trade from my lid to the bottle. I have a feeling I'm going to be scraping quite a bit. I seem to be screwing up on this side a little bit. A little bit? I think a few times now already. At least twice anyway. That's another reason why I have the disclaimer that I am not a professional and I'm nowhere near it. I don't think I ever will be, because professionals have skills that I do not have. There was a time in my life I used to consider myself a pretty good drawer. I could draw things pretty good. Until I saw some professional artists and it's like, yeah, I suck. I even went so far as to take, like, you know, here, when you go from elementary school into middle school, or what we used to call back when I was going to school, we called it junior high. I took 3 years of drafting, because to me at the time it's kind of like art, like drawing, right? Learning all the things like perspective and angles and shit like that. Doing blueprints and whatever. I thought it was kind of neat. But I never went anywhere beyond after that. Just because in drafting, your lines have to be so crisp and precise. And I just didn't have the skill for it. So it just wasn't something I really pursued beyond like middle school. I'm not quite sure I had that great of a teacher then either, because it'd be like, okay, you know, when you're looking, it's like, okay, in real life, you're standing in the middle of a road, okay, and you've got the dotted lines in the middle, okay, and the dotted lines, as they get further away, they get smaller, right, and they appear to be closer together, even though they're not. It's just the way your vision is. That's the way everything looks. And so you can draw that, right? You can draw that the lines, as they're up close, they're a certain width, and then they both, as they go off into the horizon, they get narrowed. The lines go like that, right? Together. And that's fine. And you know that, those spaces are, say, those lines, if you were to go out with a measuring tape and measure them, it's maybe, they're 1.5 feet long, maybe 2 feet. But as they go off in the distance, what is the measurement as they get off in the distance to determine how much shorter to make them as they go off? And I could never figure that out. And my teacher never had an answer for me on it. How do you like that for a blob of paint? What did I say earlier? Tempted to do that. Typical instructor, right? Don't do this, and then does it. One, done. We are more than halfway there. seems to be the outside edge that I'm messing up on the most. Because the inner webbing is, the mold is a little taller maybe. I'm a little more forgiving to my little mess ups. I don't know. Could be. It's possible. It's possible. I haven't even done Darth Vader's yet. But his ship doesn't have nearly as many panels on it. They're just a little smaller. Done. Next. Okay, that's done. Check something here. Fuck. I just fucked that one up big time. What was that about? Not screwing up on the webbing? Well, I fucked that one up, sure. Okay. One more to go. And it's done. Done. Woo. It'll be like those streamers when they get food at the restaurant. Oh, oh, wow, so amazing. Yeah. Okay, now we got Darth Vader's ship. Let's put these over here. Yeah, see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6, and 12. So he's almost got the same amount of panels, but not quite. Like I said, his panels are a little smaller too, so. But I don't have to be as precise on his because they're smaller. And that panel line accenter has already taken over a lot of the lines in the corners and filled in quite a bit. But you know what? As I'm doing this, I'm noticing the panel line accent isn't quite as black. So I have to go to the corners of the panel anyway. And that kind of sucks. Because it kind of makes it what I did with the accent color pointless. We'll see. I'm going to test that as this dries. We'll see what that looks like in that little corner there. Kind of funny. I have an old model kit of Darth Vader's ship from like 1990 that I built. Well, back in 1990, and I pulled it out a couple of weeks ago, dusted off some mothballs off of it because it's just been sitting for years, and just to have a look at it and see, you know, maybe take it apart and repaint it with, you know, because I'm a little bit better at than I was back in 1990 at doing this stuff. So I did that. I discovered that the models today of the same ship have so much more detail to them than they did back then. Like, if you watch the movie closely, you'll see that Darth Vader's ship, and the other TIE fighters, they've got little thrusters on the back of them. And in the movie, they're red. And the regular TIE fighter, I believe, has 2, but Darth Vader's has 4. And they're really just tiny little, let's see if I can see on the molding, this is the front. Yeah, so on this section here, Darth Vader's right in there and there and there. Hey Superman, how you doing? So yeah, as I was saying, you got the 4 little thrusters there's 4 of them there, and the regular TIE fighter has 2, just 1 on each side there and there. But I got this model of Darth Vader's ship, and I could compare it. It's like this big, right? It's pretty big, and it doesn't even have the jets molded, or the thrusters, whatever you want to call them. They're not molded on. They're not even molded onto the thing at all. Like, just the lack of detail from back in 1990, whatever it was, when that thing was built by, I think it was Mattel made that model kit. I can't even remember now. But yeah, it's just, so I kind of repainted it and stuff, and I didn't even really bother assembling the whole thing again. The new Da Baby song. No, I haven't heard of Da Baby song. How many times have I watched Star Wars? I don't know. I've seen it a lot. A few years ago, there was Spike TV used to have marathons like all summer long, just playing the movies over and over, like for all 6 episodes. Of course, the new ones hadn't come out yet. I think it was maybe about 5 years ago or something like that. Spike TV in the summertime, just every freaking weekend they were playing Star Wars movies. So I've seen them quite a few times. The new ones I've only seen maybe twice or something like that. Okay, that's one side done. Yeah, so as that is dried, you can see where the that panel line accenter it's not quite black. So it's a good thing. I just went to the corners of every other panel so I don't have to go over it again. And then I'll scrape away any spots that I went overboard on the edges. So what I thought would be a neat idea at the time didn't turn out to work so well after all. But like they say, you never know if you never try, right? So almost done this one side. There we go. And that side's done. Now we've got the inside to do, and we'll be done this guy. Well, done painting his panels anyway. See how long I've been painting these panels anyway. What time is it? 1:30? About an hour? almost done. Done. Right now it kind of looks like crap because I screwed up and went overboard a little bit in lots of places, but that's okay. We're going to clean that up. Now what I want to do actually is, I guess I'm going to actually paint that. So next thing I need to do is clean up where I've kind of screwed up. But first I need to clean my brush, so I'll be back in a second. Alright, so let's see here. Superman came and went. That's kind of what he does, I guess. Alright, so let's go along my edges here and clean up these little spots where I've got black where I don't want to be. Nice, crisp, straight lines. Looks pretty good. That's done. Fortunately, I didn't screw up too many times. Maybe this one was pretty good. It's not exactly a straight edge on here anymore. Okay, so it's done. Everything great down here. Alright, that's done. So those two are done. Let's go back. Which one is dry? I think they both look dry now. No, this is the last one, so I'll do that later. This one first. This one's got some, they went a little bit overboard with the panel line accent, which makes it look a little shittier. It makes it look like I went outside the line when I didn't. Just in a few places though. I think you can see what I mean on this camera, where the panel line is, the accent has gone outside the boundary of the thing, and I need to scrape that away, otherwise it looks like shit. Okay, that one's looking pretty good. I'll have to touch that up there a little bit. It's okay. It's like most of my touch-up on their faders is because of that panel line accent or something. Maybe it wasn't such a great idea to use that stuff on this. Because I didn't want to use black accent on this right from the beginning. But there isn't much I can do now unless I just, well, I'm not going to respray it. But it would have been an option. It's just to respray the gray. Start from scratch. I could have. But I wasn't thinking it was such a problem, so there's nothing I can't just touch up a little bit here and there, so. Okay. Thought I was done, but I'm not. Okay, done. Now we might actually get to start on some assembly. Let's take a look, shall we? What do they want me to do first? Let's see. Here's my instructions. So they're going to start with beaters. What I do want to do, because of this window, I think it's the same on the other one. That's some fine detail. Now they have given me the decal sheet. So rather than trying to paint the window, which is that guy right there, where my finger is, rather than trying to paint that, you can just put the decal on there. And I'll tell you right now, the decal will look like shit. Because it's a curved surface with all these little bumps from all the little bars that go around it. It'll look like shit. So I'm not going to use those. In fact, I don't think I use any of these decals. I'm not going to use any of them. Because they're not even water. You just cut them out and peel them off. Cheap, cheap, cheap. So what I am going to use is this stuff again. And I'm going to use it to fill in those windows. And you'll see as I go what it's going to look like. And that's what it looks like. Right there. Which it doesn't look like it's focusing on very well. You'll have to trust me. It's going to look good. It will look a lot better than that pathetic little decal. Okay, I'm going to let those dry, and then I'll hit them with another coat. I'll hit it again after it's dried to make them a little darker, because now I know that just kind of absorbs into it a little bit and it looks really just like a super dark gray and not black like it should be. And then when that is dried on the second coat, I will clean off the bars that are supposed to be gray. So, in the meantime, let's put this over here. We want the main body of Darth Vader's ship. Just 1/2. A little bit. One thing that is really cool about the Bandai models is that you almost don't need glue. I will say almost. There is the odd time where you've got a couple of pieces that they're just such a light fit that you want to glue them, right? anything go in the middle of these things? No. So these two go together. And like this. There's always a specific way it goes. Feels like this way. Just like that. You see what I mean? Just press fit together and they stay together. Okay. I think my window is dry enough. And then we've got the windows on the top. There's little bits of, just a couple of little windows on the very top. As well. Just like that. Where's this guy? It's got the same thing. First, the glass, windshield. There we go. Okay. Let that dry. Meanwhile, we have the rear and other way around. We got the top piece and the bottom piece. This looks like the bottom piece. Bottom piece. And we've got the back part. I just had a thought. I wonder what they did with Vader's TIE fighter after he died. Again, I guess his ship was probably on the Death Star when he died. I would assume so. So, I guess his ship got blown up. There, I answered my own question. Okay, these two halves go together. Tight fit, that's for sure. I hope I don't ever have to take them apart, because that's tight. Okay, so this bottom piece goes in there. So we can particular orientation. It doesn't look like it. It goes a certain way. So that's together. I just painted the top, so I don't really want to. It's okay, actually. Tried to get away. Too much of that accent color, so I went overboard. Just want to clean it up a little bit. I am going to give this thing a wash, like a dark gray wash, so I'm not too concerned about that so much. I just don't want it black, especially the dark gray is still going to be lighter than this, so I want to clean it up a little bit best I can. So that's the front, and that goes like that. There's a little escape hatch is on, and this goes on back side. Once again, it goes on a certain way only. And it's a super tight fit. It's not going to work. So why is the fit too tight? Is it because of the paint? That's very possible. Let's see. I'm really just scraping off in random spots. I don't know if that's the cause. Thinking that might be why it's not wanting to go all the way is because I got paint on here. I suppose because this whole thing is all the same color, I could have left it and not painted it. Is that the right way? I think it's the right way. Let's try that. That's better. That's much better. So it was the paint. Toyed like a toy. There we go. Okay, what's next? I don't need these. What's next? Put that together, put the little square doomahickey thingy on the back. It's this guy. Just like that. That's done. Doomahickey thicky thing is done. Then take these. This. And it goes on. It only goes in a certain way. Goes in the middle there. Okay. Do the same on this side. Okay. Again, it only goes in one direction. There we go. Done. Now I can take the windshield off. This sprue is now empty. And now I'm going to clean up this window. That window looks a lot better than it would have if I put the decal on. Just like that. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up. I'm trying to show you how it looks. Let's see here. Looks a lot better than if I tried, even attempted this stupid little decal. And are these the same? Or are they oriented different? One forward, one back, so they are one way. And there we go. Darth Vader's TIE Fighter is done. There you go. One done. Now what's kind of funny, there's this arm piece here that's left over. They don't really show. Oh yes, they do show. I'm just not there yet. Okay, so this gets put aside for now. And now we've got all our pieces of our regular TIE fighter. It's not very complicated where all these pieces go, so I'm just going to remove them all at once. It's pretty easy to figure out just exactly where each piece goes. And even at that, with those pieces, they only go on in one particular direction, which is kind of cool. Bandai does that, right? That one's empty. Actually, I only have a couple of pieces on this one. It's part of the display base. One. And finally, I got this guy. There we go. Okay, so I just want to clean these up a little bit. There's not much that needs to be cleaned up, but just to make life a little bit easier, if I come to a piece like this one that needs to a little bit of flashing cleaned off. Just drop window right up there. Windshield needs to be cleaned up. It's nice and pretty, just like Vader's did. Can't remember, did I hit this one with a second coat or did I only do Vader's? I think I may have only done Vader's. I don't know. If it did only do Vader's, then oops. Otherwise, oh well. So it's going to be the same kind of thing. So we can start with our front and back main pieces. I think there is a definite, yeah, it only goes one way. Just like that. With this piece and this way. Just like that. And the top. And one goes one way. Like that. Windshield. Just like that. We've got our little side pieces that go here. notch to make sure they go in the right orientation. That's one side. And with the notch at the top. Just like that. And then these definitely have a left and right. That's one. And two. And there we have the second TIE fighter done. Just like that. Both TIE fighters finished. Now we got the base. Base. This one. Base. And this little ball socket goes on top here like that. And this guy goes like this. And then we have these things. Now, this is going to go like that. Show it sitting like this. Then, okay. So we can do either one ship on top of here, or we can do both. So we have two, so we're going to do both. So this goes on there like that. Then we can do that kind of a thing. This goes for Vader's ship, like this, and then you can display it just like that, and you can have them angled up, moving. You can have Vader's ship sticking out in front, like that. There you go. Pretty cool little display. I have this backwards right now. Twist it too much. There. Just like that. Now, optionally, I could have two regular TIE fighters because this piece has another slot there. And I could have them the other way around if I want. I suppose there's that, that scene when they're flying through the trench. Vader's in, out ahead, and there's two. You could have another TIE fighter on this and Vader out in front and kind of duplicate that scene, right? If I had another one of these TIE fighters. But yeah, and that's that. These are done. And there's my little Star Wars build for the day. So with that, we're going to call it done. And tomorrow, I will continue with my build of my Tornado by Revell. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So, that's it. Did a little Star Wars build. I might still do a little bit of a wash on there. Let's to add some detail to them and make them look a little more detailed. I don't know. I think they look pretty good just as they are. Nothing to complain about, that's for sure. But yeah, so we're gonna call it a day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming out. And yeah, so we will see you next time. And as usual, if you want to see some of my other builds, you can check out my YouTube. If you want to see some pictures of my other builds, you can check out my Instagram. I do have, what you call it now? I do have Twitter now. So you could, if you feel like sending me a DM, you can send me one on Twitter if you like. But I'll warn you, I don't go on Twitter very often, so I might not get it right away. But yeah, so once again, thanks, and we'll see you next time.